Welcome to another episode of Swim with the Sharks live Q&A. My name is Dan Diaz. I am your host, and it is an absolute pleasure to have everyone here today. As always, we have a very special guest with us. Before I introduce him, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. As you know, we do use a service called StreamYard, StreamYard.com. And you've got to give them permission to let us know who you are so that when you comment, it'll actually let us know who you is. It's a great service, but unfortunately, you got to go ahead and give them their permission. So please do that now so that whenever you comment or you have any questions or you post them, we go ahead and know exactly who you are. Second thing, we always love to know where you're from. So in the comments section, if you want to go ahead and type your market and maybe a little bit about yourself, what's your specialty when it comes to real estate, we'd love to hear a little bit about that. Now let's go ahead and begin. We've got a very special guest with us, and I'm going to read a little bit of his bio so that you kind of whet your appetite as to who we've got on board today. He's bought over 500 homes as a creative real estate investor since 1996 until a situation which has been defined as a bizarre lawsuit by the Division of Securities came across. Yes, we're going to talk about some awesome things that he's doing now, but some things that he learned from the past that I think really benefit a lot of us. Going back to his bio, he's a strategic AI marketing consultant, educator, coach, empowering virtualpreneurs, infopreneurs, and real estate entrepreneurs with extensive direct response marketing and creative real estate investing. He unlocks self-growth opportunities. Since 2022, he has harnessed the power of AI for strategic planning, copywriting, social media influence. He curates top AI marketing tools for consistent leads, sales, and profits. He is renowned for guiding business launches and expansions. He inspires transformative thinking and living your preferred lifestyle. He's authored hundreds of training programs, and he has been sharing his unique game-changing strategy since 1999. Guys, without further ado, I'd like to introduce and bring on board Mr. Richard Roop. Thank you so much for being on the show. Please tell us more about yourself.
That was a great bio.
We heard
it. Oh yeah, no, I'm excited to be here, Dan, on your show. I love sharing with entrepreneurs. My entire life has been about helping people achieve their goals. Initially, it was through neuro-linguistic programming, and I was the marketing director for a company where we did books, tapes, and seminars on how to achieve your goals using NLP and hypnosis and personal growth and development. My biggest competition at the time was Tony Robbins. My partner was the celebrity and the author. I was his marketing director. I studied with all the great marketing folks like Dan Kennedy, Jay Abraham, Gary Halbert back in the day. And I got into real estate in 1996 and used my marketing background to buy over 500 houses. And then I started getting called up on stage to share my marketing tools, my marketing strategies for real estate investors. And that's when I became known as kind of the marketing consultant for real estate entrepreneurs.
So you really started way before many of us, even myself. I mean, I've only been a full-time investor since 2015. So way before all of us really got involved.
My first company was Richard Roop Marketing and Advertising in 1984.
Wow. And you started that when you were 12? No, I'm kidding.
I was actually in the Air Force. I was about 20 years old.
Very nice. Thank you for your service. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
So guide us through the road, because you've had a long road and do it in a short amount of time you can, but where has this road taken you and where are you now when it comes to the wonderful world of real estate investing that lately has been focused on AI for you?
Well, I've always been focused on creating results in a business. Okay, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, I'm not into this corporate marketing. I've never been to college. Okay, I'm all I actually have 3 MBAs. I got an MBA in personal growth and development, creative real estate, and direct response marketing. And MBA stands for Mentors, Books, and Audio Programs.
I love that. Mentors, books, and audio programs. Yeah, I love that. Love that.
Okay.
And that probably is the best MBA you could ever get. It really can be.
Uh, you don't learn how to make money in college per se. You learn how to get a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you really learn when you go to seminars or you get some courses or you hang out with some groups of investors and clubs and masterminds. It's really getting out there and actually doing it to find out what kind of results you get, but what's also holding you back. And I'm really good at helping people find out what they need to kind of focus in on to change whatever results they're getting now. And I'm really good at helping people get clear on, create a vision for their future so that they have this daily organic motivation. And today, I've always done that with business strategies, marketing strategies. I'm a copywriter. But when AI came out about a year ago, I started using it to create images. And in February, when ChatGTP came out, I help other businesses grow their business. And so I started using these tools to quickly knock out projects for my clients, like redesigning their website, creating new marketing tools, free special reports for their marketing, coming up with strategies to increase their pricing. And for real estate investors is like, how do you get more profit per deal? How do you generate more leads? How do you convert more of those leads into deals? And then how do you scale your business? And I've been teaching all that for a couple decades.
So share with the audience a little bit. Let's pretend that nobody here has ever heard of AI. Walk us down. What is AI? What is ChatGPT? And what are some practical ways that can be implemented into our business?
Okay, so AI is not new. If you think about Siri on your phone, right? And there's a lot of, maybe online programs, websites and stuff that use AI behind the scene. Google is big on AI, right? So artificial intelligence, but the tools to actually use it in our own business have just become accessible just recently. Mm-hmm. And ChatGTP came out is a conversational bot. So what it is, they took all the information down on the internet and they put it into a database, right? So they have all this information up till September 2021. It's a large language model. And then with this artificial intelligence, they run algorithms to pull data and put data together, billions and billions of connections, okay? So what happens is if you set up a free account at openai.com, and you can do this for yourself for free.
And it's openai.com for those who are listening.
Openai.com. And you just set up a free account and you start a chat and you ask a question and it gives you an answer. So those little chat bots on the websites? Mm-hmm. Those are usually pretty limited. This is amazing. You can work on anything. In fact, I'm teaching a lot of people how to get into this and use it, specific use cases like you said, but once you know what it can do, you will want to use it every day in your working, business and your work day.
Yeah. Now, how does someone go about, because it's one thing to go to the website and have the information there. How does someone incorporate or I don't even know if I'm using the right language, but incorporate or plug in the power of ChatGPT into, for example, let's say they're doing, I don't know, a texting campaign, or they're doing, an email or some sort of, a situation where there's interaction. How do they plug it into their business?
Okay, so you can use it to create a game plan, and it's like your own it's like a personal assistant, okay? But it's very, very smart, okay? And so if you have a coach or a consultant or a mentor or something like that, it's like, what kind of questions would you ask your coach, or what kind of questions would you ask, your teacher of whatever area that you want to work on? So ChatGTP can basically answer any question that you got. So for texting, give me an example of what you would like to accomplish working on your texting marketing campaign. What would
So,
you
for
like to
example,
improve?
and I don't know if this is an application or not. I'm just, we're just having a conversation. Let's say that you're doing a texting campaign where you want people to come back. Can you plug in ChatGPT so that they become the responders to
Yes,
to the sellers or the buyers' questions? Is that an option? I don't even know. I'm asking.
it is. Actually, you can create your own. I call it UGPT. It's like
Okay.
you can clone yourself. Um, you can create your own database that taps into ChatGTP as well. It's technically, I'm not a technical guy, so
Yeah.
I don't like this technical stuff. But when you have a Plus account, costs $20 a month,
Mhm.
you can take an API and put it on your web page, and you can create a chatbot that ties into that, and you can customize it to, like with all of your information. In fact, you
Mm.
can just feed in. You can feed it with like PDFs and audios and videos and text. You can give it all your information, and now you can ask questions from that information.
Wow. Wow. So specific to your business, specific to what you do and how you do it.
Right. So there's actually companies that have already put these APIs together, and
Mm.
they all there's one of my buddies has already started one where it actually negotiates with the seller through a chat.
What?
Yes. It and so what you do is you give the seller an option. Do you want to give me a call or chat with us? And if they
Yeah.
chat with you, it will actually take his best negotiation strategies for talking to a seller with good rapport and everything done right, and then it will get to the seller to whether you have a seller that you have to call or not, or you
Yeah.
have to send a contract to or not.
Wow. 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 So what are some other applications that someone who's just learning and wants to kind of get their feet wet in AI and this whole new ecosystem? What are some things that they can do now?
There's thousands and thousands of what's called AI tools. So
Okay.
that's these use applications that people have put together, and now you can go try it for free. And if you like it, you can subscribe to it and use it. Most of them you can try for free. Because there are thousands and thousands, I've created a community of entrepreneurs that are interested in AI, and we are curating the best tools to actually focus in on. So, for
Nice.
example,
I was going
so
to
for
ask you.
example,
Yeah. Tell us.
in fact, I have a program I can give everybody for free. It's called the AI Tool Navigator, and it allows you to search for your whatever you want to accomplish. Now, let me give you this. You talked about like texting, right? All
Yeah.
right. There's a tool called Be Human. So it's B, the letter B, human .com or .ai. Okay. And what it does is you record one video, a short video. Say I wanted to invite you, Dan, and all my other influencers to my event. So I have 100 of them, right? So I would record a video. I say, Dan, I'd love for you to attend my event next week. It was great being on your podcast. I had a great time. If you're interested, click the link or just give me a call.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, or it's going to be a video, so it's say shoot me an email or give me a call. Now what you can do is you have that short video and you can upload a list of 100 people, and you can have 100 different names, 100 different personal statements. So my personal statement with you is I love being on your podcast. For someone
Mhm.
else, I would say I love this. It was great seeing you last week, right?
Wow.
And you upload this customized list, and it changes the mouth and the words for it customizes the video for 100 people in the click of a button. and then
Oh, wow.
it can actually, you can tell it to go ahead and send it to, text it or message it to the list automatically.
Wow, wow. That's so basically the technology knows how the mouth would move according to the words. That is,
There are amazing video tools. You can create your own avatar. You can create your own video avatar of you. So it's like so you can create content for any purpose in video, and it can be you, and it's not you. And all you do is feed it a script, and it will say what you tell it to say.
wow. Now it'll look cartoonish, right? Because
No,
it's an avatar.
it will look real.
Really, that is scary.
And some people are scared of
Yeah.
misuse of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the guiding principles in my new community is integrity and making sure that the people that are involved are providing value to the marketplace and not not scammers or people that the
Yeah.
snake oil salesman type of thing.
Yeah. Because I can imagine, for example, someone could impersonate someone else, or maybe someone passed.
Well, that's how
And they
people
could,
got scared. There was a article about someone got a call from someone in someone else's voice, and they said that they can.
did you see the message? I got to interrupt you. Now I wonder if we have the real Richard Roop on live.
I actually made that
That's a
joke.
fair question.
Roop GPT. No, there was a story that's got everybody scared because someone did try and extort money, saying they made it sound like their daughter. So their daughter was calling them saying, "Hey, I need some trouble. Send me some money," and it was a total scam, and it sounded just like their daughter. Okay.
Unbelievable.
But I look at the positive side. Okay, so my new community is called the Aim High community, and that's
Aim high.
Aim High,
Okay.
and that's an acronym which means artificially intelligent marketing for human inspired growth hacking. It's all about how to grow your business and make more money and create financial freedom, wealth, income using these tools and the strategies that I've been teaching for years. So that's why I'm so excited. It makes my job so much easier.
Yeah, and people can find that at profitpro.ai.
Yeah, if you go to profitpro.ai,
And our website's at the bottom. It's scrolling.
yeah, in fact, there's a free membership. And so you can log in and it will unlock the trainings, these AI trainings where I go over these cool tools that you were asking about, these use cases,
Sure.
and that AI tool navigator. And I did a webinar last week,
Mm-hmm.
how to make $10 a minute with ChatGTP.
I'd love to hear about that. What can you share about that? I know you created a whole webinar about it, but what are some things that can be done that way?
I'll give you a taste of it because if you go there, you can watch it for free, and I highly recommend you do, because here's what I did. I wrote a prompt. So in ChatGTP, you ask questions,
Okay.
and it answers you, and then you you look at the output and you ask more questions, and you have a conversation. And as you're doing that, you're educating the AI. Who you are, what you're trying to accomplish, what's important to you. You can ask what's important to my prospective clients. You could say, why wouldn't the seller take my offer? Or you could, yeah, as far as making new ads and copy and marketing materials for generating leads from buyers, sellers, investors, and all that, it'll do a fantastic job. But your output is as good as your input. Okay. So here's how I look at it, Dan. You basically have a magic genie. You have a genie. Remember that story, Aladdin's lamp, where the genie came out? All right. Remember the pros and cons of getting 3 wishes?
Yeah.
All right. So I actually had a chat with ChatGTP, and I said, what are the pros and cons of getting 3 wishes from a genie? And it broke it down for me. It was great.
Oh my God. What did it respond?
It talked about the negative consequences of not asking your question correctly. That was what I was kind of going after, because with all these tools, you got to tell it what to do. And the more specific you are on telling it what to do, it will give you more specific output, better output. So here's what I did. The morning I did that webinar, I went in there and I said, look, I want to make $10 a minute with ChatGPT. That's $600 an hour, right?
Yeah.
All right. And I'm looking for ways to make $10 a minute using ChatGPT. What questions do you need to ask me in order for you to help me?
Oh, wow. So you train me so that I can get
Yeah.
product from you. Like what do I need to ask you so that you're good for me?
Well, if I knew what it wanted, which I do, depending on the use case, I know how to create a prompt. It's called prompt engineering. I'm a copywriter, and so I know how to ask the right questions. So I'm really good. So I'm teaching that. But I'm also creating these prompts where I can just give it to you, Dan. You can ask that question, right? I can give you the prompt. You just stick it in there. And whatever you want to work on, you say, this is my goal. This is me and my interest. What do you need to know to help me? So what it did is it gave me a list of 10 questions. I answered all those questions. Now it knew exactly what I was after, and I just continued to ask questions, and it gave me incredible answers. It wrote letters. Once it knew what I was trying to accomplish in a letter and who it was, it wrote the letter for me in 5 seconds.
Wow.
And I said, I want an amendment to the lease agreement attached to that, and it wrote that. And then I said, well, I want to do the same strategy, but this time I want to use a letter of intent, and it created a letter of intent. So once you're having this conversation, it will write any type of communication. It'll create documents, of course, legal stuff. You got to, double check.
Yeah.
And so what I did is I asked, how can I make $600 an hour with ChatGPT? After I asked that questions, it answered its questions on what's my risk tolerance? Is it a side hustle or is it a long-term business? What are your interests? Yeah. It was great. It was perfect. So if you just use that yourself, you would answer the questions. You'd get different output than I did. I went in there to try and do it as a demo, so I tried to be generic, but it gave me 4 ways to increase my income and 4 ways to reduce my expenses. Okay, all right. And so then during that webinar, I went ahead and drilled down on 3 of those, and we created a 7-hour thing to make $4,200. That would be $600 an hour. This project to reduce my outgo would take 7 hours, but I knocked half of that 7 hours during that conversation, so it became only 3 hours because all the things it wanted me to do, I had ChatGPT do it for me right there.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. We got a comment, which I think probably is in the minds of a lot of people. Maybe some have dabbled in ChatGPT and other AI stuff, and you sort of get a notion, but we're still kind of in the either really small stuff or maybe the hobby or the maybe getting to learn it. How can someone unlock its full potential? What are some tools that you can recommend that someone look into and say, okay, if you want to lock the full potential, I recommend you do this or you do that, or you read this or you read that, or what can you suggest?
Well, the first thing I suggest is go in there and start using it. Now, there's a lot of people advertising and sharing their prompts or their strategies. A lot of it is on Twitter. Okay, some people are selling courses and stuff. I'm giving out all this information for free because I do know that some people will want me to work on their business with them, kind of in a group coaching format, and that's what I would love to do, right? So I want to get people educated, so I'm giving away all these free resources. In fact, am I able to put
You should be able to, yeah, in the comment section.
Yeah, what do I push? Comment? I guess I'm not signed in.
You should be. Or if you want to text it to me on Messenger, I can go ahead and copy and paste it on the comment. You should be able to comment.
I just put it in the private chat to you.
Okay, I'll copy and paste it right now.
Go ahead. That's the prompt that I did last week, and now everybody's got that prompt. So go to ChatGPT, just put that prompt in there, and go from there. But I would watch my free video, the replay, because it's amazing. we talked about how to start a business. All right. One of the suggestions was based on my criteria, it says start a business. So I said, okay, I want to start a business and I want to sell it in a year. I'll spend 40 hours creating the business. I'll use all these AI tools and VAs and maybe hire some staff, but I'm just going to manage it 10 hours a month. And then I'm going to sell it in a year and I'll spend 40 hours finding my buyer. But I want to make $600 an hour for every hour I spent creating, managing, and selling that business. It was 200 hours. So I asked it, okay, what kind of sales do I need in order for it to be worth enough so I can sell it? And it walked me right through it. I walked you guys right through it. You'll see exactly how it works. And that's also to give you ideas on what you can actually do with this. Now, ChatGPT is your number one tool. Then, like I said, there's thousands of tools. That one tool I mentioned about creating customized videos, that's a tool. That's a use case. There's all kinds of tools. You have a podcast, right? You have there's all kinds of tools that anything that you do in your business that is repetitious or systematic, you can actually have it done for you with maybe the click of a button.
Wow.
There's a program called Bardeen, and that's Bardeen. And Bardeen creates workflows. It's called playbooks, and it will connect your different applications together so you can tell it, okay, this is what I usually do. Just do it for me, right? It's like a script, and it will connect all your applications and anything that now people are afraid of losing their job because of AI, right? Have you heard about that? People, and they will,
and I believe they will. Yeah,
they will, because anything that they're doing that is more like repetitious, it will be automated. That's how powerful it is, and it's only getting more powerful. But all of this stuff, Dan, requires human innovation, human instruction, okay, human inspiration, all right? And we're the pilots. So the biggest number one thing, Dan, for people to get involved in this, because it is overwhelming, is have a clear goal in mind. It's like, what do you want to improve? What do you want to change? What do you want to knock out? Because there's so many things you can do, you'll just go down rabbit holes. I planned my 2-week family vacation. We're driving to see my stepmom in Kentucky from Texas. We're going to Kentucky. Then I'm seeing my nieces and my sister in Virginia Beach. Then we're seeing my wife's family in Canton, and then we're driving back. 2 weeks. So I just put all that information. I said, what's the mileage? How much is the gas going to cost? How many nights of hotels do we need? It just laid it all out. And then when we changed the date, I just said, now, well, actually, instead of 2 weeks, we said, we only want to do it for 12 days, redo it. And it redid it like that.
Wow. That's amazing. So let me ask you, what got you originally involved? The desire, what inspired you to say, you know what? Because we get bombarded with so many things on a daily basis. But what was it about AI that you said, you know what? Let me spend some time here.
Results. I'm all about results. And so I started using it on projects where I was creating marketing. I was writing copy. I was writing emails. I was creating web copy. I was creating products. I was doing branding. It cut my work down like to 10 to 20% of the time it takes me to do all that. I mean, there's things I was able to do. I just never got to it because I knew I wouldn't get it complete. It takes too much work, too much time. I'm not even going to try it. Now I can knock it out in an hour, something that would have took me days.
Wow. Wow. Very, very nice. Very nice.
So my question
so
for you, it is mind blowing. So let's narrow it down. Let's get specific, Dan.
Yes.
What would you like to work on, knock out, improve, accomplish? Give me something that you would like, something that's important to you. It could be short term or long term.
Okay. So, for example, in my personal business, something that I would like to do is get a database of all the business owners that opened up a business in the state of Texas in the last 12 months.
Man, that is so easy.
Really? Well, blow me away.
All right. So what I would do is
Uh-huh.
I would go into my tool directories, that program I got, the AI tool navigator.
Okay.
There's several websites. One is called, there's an AI for that. It has 5,000 AI tools. There's another directory called futurepedia.io. It's got 3,500 tools, probably some overlap. Then there's futuretools.io, and it doesn't say how many tools. And they have them in categories. So what I would do, that you're talking about data analysis,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I love scraping data off the internet. That's one of the best use cases. I have a little tool on my Chrome browsers, and by the way, there's hundreds of AI browsing tools now. So I can go to a website, I can click on the tool. It'll tell me I have to refresh the page. So I refresh the page, and now I can pull out all all I can pull up a list of all my Facebook friends, and I can scrape all of them and put them into a Google spreadsheet, just like that. Okay,
Wow.
so anything that's like in a table on websites, and most stuff is, you can scrape it. So it's great for research, as far as that criteria for that particular list.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's your goal. I want this list. The first thing I would do, I was going to ChatGTP and I say, this is the list I want. Give me a game plan. Well, how can I find it?
What do I need to do? This is what I want. What do I need to do?
That's where you
Wow.
that's where you start.
Yeah.
Especially if you're stuck. If you don't know how to get started, just start. That's why I say you should be using this in your work day every day, because whenever you start racking your brain about anything,
Yeah.
just go in there and just ask the question.
I personally, and I'm sure a lot of our audience has been the same situation. I've dabbled a little bit in Chat GPT, but not for business yet.
Yeah.
One of the really cool exercises that I really liked, and it really blew me away at the accuracy, is I'm a big theologian and Bible reader, and especially history and characters. That's what I do in my part time. So I asked him. I asked ChatGPT, um, give me a small biography of the name of the man named Abraham in the Hebrew scriptures, and it did, very accurate. And then I asked it, now write that same biography from the perspective of someone who hated him. And I was blown away at the slight, differences in which it wrote it. And then I did the complete opposite. I said, now write that same biography from the perspective of someone who loved him dearly. And for it to be able to maneuver language, I mean, I don't know if I'm using the right
It,
word, but choose language, probably a better word, choose language that really showed that shade. Oh man, that blew me away. That blew me away.
well, it's just running an algorithm. So if you tell it whatever you tell it to do, it's called temperature. Okay. So, for example, before you ask a question about marketing, what I like to do is I say, okay, let's say it's data marketing, getting marketing mailing lists. So tell ChatGPT, I want you to act like you're the one of the top list providers in the nation for my industry, and name the industry,
Mhm.
uh, and you and and then ask, tell it to act like that. The more specific, the better. I like to say, have it ask it a few questions about the top marketers, like the top copywriters. Like, tell me the top strategies for Dan Kennedy. Tell me the top strategies for Jay Abraham. Tell me the top strategies for
Mm.
Gary Halbert. I'm educating it. It's pulling it from its database. Then I say, okay, now I want to write a letter on this using those top strategies,
Oh, wow.
or in the tone of Dan Kennedy. Okay, and make it very readable for a seventh grader.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then it gives you the output. And what happens is you read through it and you say, okay, well, let's change it. Let's add to it. So what I tell it when I'm doing emails or sales letters, I'll say, what are the top 3 reasons why they would not take action on this? And they'll tell me. And I'll say, okay, rewrite the letter and include and handle those objections
before they come up. Wow.
Right.
Man, this is just mind blowing. So what was because you mentioned your community, where can people access your community? Put it in the private chat if you're not able to put in the regular comments, and I'll copy and paste it.
Yeah, it's profitpro.ai.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
So down below, profitpro.ai.
If someone wants to put that in the chat, it's www.profitpro.ai, and just go ahead and sign up as a free Voyager member, and that's going to unlock the tools that we just talked about and some trainings that I've done over the past couple months. I started speaking to. Oh, here's another good use. I went.
You're falling off the camera.
Oh, sorry about that.
I didn't think you actually fell off the chair.
All right. So I was speaking to a bunch of high-level real estate investors, influencers, coaches, mentors. Okay, and they're so successful. People are saying, "Hey, teach me what you do." Right. So they're building their own information marketing business. So while I did a whole day at the end of April. At a 3-day conference, we did a day on AI, and it was great. And we had a panel and everything. So what I did is I asked ChatGPT, I said, Ron LeGrand has an amazing coaching business. You know, he's very popular. What are the elements of his success for creating his business? And it just laid it out step by step. What's important to him, what's his approach. And it was a perfect game plan for anybody else that wants to create a great information marketing business and helping real estate investors.
Right, and it's amazing that it would know the styles of people,
and you can teach it styles too. Like I said, you can clone yourself. You can clone your voice. You can clone your video, and you can clone your how you write. In fact, there's a very good prompt. It's on my Facebook feed. If you go to my Facebook feed, you'll see a prompt where it says, basically, I say, I'm going to feed you a bunch of information, and then I'm going to ask you some questions. And basically, you feed it all of your stuff. And you can actually read websites now. You couldn't do this before. But with if you have the Plus version for $20 a month, you can give it a link and it will summarize or analyze a website. Okay, this is very good for research and learning and saving a bunch of time when you're doing your research and your online stuff. So you give it all your stuff, and now it's thinking like you, and now you ask it to write a letter in your tone of voice. In your style.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's just mind blowing. That is just mind blowing. So let's talk a little bit, and we could probably go on forever on this super exciting topic. But a lot of people who are watching, they are wanting to know what are some practical things that they can do. And I think you have so much knowledge to really bring from. They're starting out their business. Whether it's using AI or not, but they're starting out their business. What are some practical things or advice that you can give them that can maybe tweak their business in the right direction? I'd love to talk about that.
I think everybody, no matter what they're doing in their business as a real estate investor, and of course, real estate investing should treat it like a business, whether you have another business or whatever, you need a game plan. You need a marketing plan. You need a marketing and business plan. So if you want to generate, what are the steps? Generate leads, convert them leads, right? Raise funds, fund it, and then get it sold or, cash in your money. I call it MORE, MORE, marketing, offers, raising cash, and exit. Those are the high level activities. So you have to have that game plan. All that stuff has to happen. If you have help, other people are going to help you with that, but you're going to manage those four. Okay. If you're a
So that's
solopreneur,
marketing,
marketing.
offers, raising capital, funding it, the money aspect, and then the exit. More. I love that. Give me more.
Now, you also need some special high intensity training, which is another acronym. So you need more special. All right.
You love acronyms, don't you?
I do. I do. All right. So here's another one, SODA, SODA. Because if you understand these concepts, you can ask ChatGTP about, but I'll get back to your question. SODA is how you scale, how you make more money in less time. And that is systems, outsourcing, delegation, and automation. And the reason why I'm so excited about this is AI can handle a lot of that for you. If you know that if you want to systemize your marketing or systemize your sales, or if or you're raising money, right? Or your exit plan, right? If you know you want to outsource and automate and delegate, you can delegate it to AI tools, VAs, you can hire people, but now you can do so much. You don't need a big staff. You can just take people on from Fiverr. You can have a VA, but a lot of the stuff that you want to do, you can get done very quickly yourself using these AI tools. However, the best use of your time is the strategic thought, the vision, the relationships, okay, the guidance.
Destiny.
So the first thing I would tell people is get really clear on a goal that's important to you in your business that you would like to accomplish in the next 12 months or 6 months or 3 months. And then get really clear on that vision, exactly how you want it to look, and then create a game plan. Don't do it backwards. Don't figure out how you're going to do it. And then start with the ideal situation. And I teach this all the time. I've been teaching it for years. Start with the ideal situation in mind, because you're basically creating what I call a future memory. Then turn around and figure out how you got there and go ahead and create your game plan. And all these AI tools can not only help you create your game plan, but the things that have to be accomplished in that plan, a lot of them can be automated and systemized and delegated.
Love that. SODA, systemization. Don't shut up. Systems, outsourcing, delegation, automation.
There you go.
Woo! That was SODA now. I love it. I love it. Now it's not all, sunshine and daisies in the business world. I do want to take a moment and talk about a hump in your career, which you're very transparent about, which I really, really admire and appreciate.
Yeah.
There was a lawsuit a few years ago, and without going too much into it, share with the audience, if you could, a little bit about what happened, what was the summary, how did you overcome it, how it affected you, perhaps emotionally or business wise, and what allowed you to overcome it?
All right. So I had 58 properties, and I was sued by the government, and they took $6 million worth of properties from me, where I had $1 million in equity. And by the time they sold them all off, there was $2 million worth of, losses for me. Okay. I had been buying and selling houses since 1996, never had, every time when you're in business, you have unhappy tenants and stuff like that. That happens, right? But I've done great business all my life, and my integrity is so important to me. And then because of some circumstances, and I can point you guys to a video. If you go to profitpro.ai, you click on my bio, you'll see my new AI bio. And right below that, there's a video of where I did an interview with Joe McCall, where for the very first time, Dan, I talked about it because I was scared, because I was under a gag order. They were allowed to trash me, but I wasn't able to defend myself. And so what happened was they said that all of my private notes, my private lender notes, were securities. And since they're securities, they get to regulate me, right?
SEC.
And since they're securities, then I have to give certain types of risk disclosure. I have to follow certain rules. Well, all of my notes were secured by properties I owned. Okay. And in Colorado, this was in Colorado, any note secured by a mortgage is exempt from registration and licensing. And that's what they sued me on. They said selling securities without a license, selling unregistered securities, and fraud, because they were saying I wasn't disclosing like I was supposed to be disclosing. And I can't go into, because there was three parts of it: the lawsuit, which I settled, the receivership, which was a nightmare, and then the bankruptcy, which was a nightmare, which is, to me, those were criminal activities. I can't say anything about that first part. Okay. But basically, the fraud charge was dropped. I settled. I let them take over some of my properties, and then they basically chinooked me and took the rest of my properties. And it was kind of like a mafia operation. So here's what happened. Here's the lesson in that. Bill Bronchek was my attorney.
And Bill Bronchek is a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of School of Sharks. He's a phenomenal attorney in Colorado, Boulder, I believe Boulder, Colorado.
He's up there in Denver. Yeah.
Denver. Yeah. Real nice guy. Super knowledgeable.
That's how I got started. I did my first seminar in 2001 at the Colorado Association of Real Estate Investors. I recorded it, and that was my first course, how to collect 5-figure paychecks, buying and selling houses. I did that there for his group, about 50 people. But that course, as I became popular and to speak and stuff, I would go on the road, and that was my basic training until I created hundreds of other programs. But Bill is a great guy. He's a smart guy. In fact, he was closing all my.
He was also your attorney.
He was he's a buddy, and I was using him to close my installment land contracts. And he was my title company, even though he was like 90 miles away. If I was going to do any type of owner financing, I wanted to do it right. I was all set up with him. I'd let him, I'd charge my buyer $800 and I'd give it to him and, have it all done. Right. So he couldn't figure out, none of us could figure out how this all came about and how crazy it was. And it was just insane. I can't even explain it. So what happened was they basically put me out of business. They trashed my reputation. I had no complaints from my buyers, my sellers, my private lenders. But what happens is they took over all my properties, collected all the income, and didn't pay anything out. Defaulted on all the buyer agreements, tenant agreements, seller agreements. They stopped paying on all the notes. They just collected all the money for a year and then put it into bankruptcy. It was a total shakedown. So
now the big question is, what lesson did you learn and how did you overcome it? That's what we want to know.
The biggest mistake I made, if I did anything differently, I would have defended myself. I trusted what they told me, right? I would have defended myself because I thought I was in the right. Again, I can't say I was in the right technically. But I was in I was in a funk for 2 years. That was the worst thing I've ever done, is because I get fulfillment out of helping people. And my whole life is about helping people get their, achieve their goals and get their results. I've created hundreds of millionaires with real estate investing. I've worked with all types of industries as a marketing consultant. My first marketing consultant 40 years ago is still my client. 40 years ago. All right. And he's like a billionaire. But all right. So I went into a funk for 2 years. After I got out of my funk, I went on the road and I was a marketing consultant meeting with business owners, offering a marketing program so they could sell it for sale by owner. And that was a phenomenal 2 years. I learned so much because I'm not really a salesman. I'm a marketing guy. And I had to go into these one appointment closes on a $10,000 marketing package. So that was some growth. But then right before COVID, I had my old client asked me to sell his $8 million house. I had another guy, one of my old students wanted me to help him start a mastermind. It's like, why am I not doing what I love? So I got back into the game, started working with entrepreneurs, and that was like 3 years ago. And so that 2 years that I got knocked on my ass, that was devastating, but I shouldn't have done that. When I came back, Dan, I met with all my old buddies, and guess what? everybody has these stories where they got knocked on their butt and they have to come back. It's like if you haven't had something that big happen to you, just I don't want you to expect it. I want you to avoid
Yeah,
that. But
yeah,
I couldn't tell you how I could have possibly avoided what happened to me.
yeah,
And I don't think people should worry about it because I think I was targeted.
yeah, yeah. Well, we appreciate your transparency for sure, and it's an inspiration to see individuals and meet individuals like yourself. I think most people, and when I say most, I mean like about maybe 98% of those who are active right now, they've enjoyed the waves of the up. They haven't gone through a recession, they haven't gone through a cycle.
And I have.
I fully haven't gone through a cycle. I think I'm very conservative, and I've built our portfolio very sound. But only time will tell.
I,
So
I can give
thank
some
you
advice
for
on that.
people. Yeah, please do.
Because during 2007, we had the mortgage market meltdown,
Mhm.
and I saw what was coming. I'm actually pretty good at predicting the future or kind of creating the future. I wrote a book. I published a book called The Secret of Creating Your Future in 1988 for Dr. Ted James. And we had an infomercial on TV. We had a home study course. It's a very powerful process for creating goals and achieving your goals and letting go of your baggage and using your resources towards the future. So in 2007, we were in a hot market. Okay, 2007, the mortgage market meltdown, and that was the beginning of the 2008 financial crisis. So in 2008, I created the free and clear cash machine, where instead of doing the normal real estate transaction, we started targeting people with free and clear houses and buying with owner financing at 0% long term. And
Wow.
that saved a lot of my students. They still slap me on the back when they see me about, hey, I still got some of those properties, or that really saved me, or whatever. So you want to pivot. And I think the economy is really going to get bad for most people. But if you're in business for yourself, if you're a creative entrepreneur, you can pivot, you can handle anything. You just got to stay awake and change as you need. So I would, because here's the deal: the opportunity is more and more sellers are going to need help.
Yep.
More and more buyers are going to need to rent,
Are not going to be able to buy.
and they're not going to be able to buy. And if they want to buy, you can be the bank, right?
Mhm.
But a lot of people are going to have to rent. Some people are going to have to move in with family.
Yep.
People's incomes are going to go down because of this crazy economy that we got, and there's no end in sight.
Yeah.
And I wish I had a better, for the masses, I wish I had better, hope. I think it's going to get really nasty, but it's all about mindset, right? It's all how you think about it. And I'm all about helping people. So no matter what's going on in the economy, I can help people change or fix whatever they need to work on.
Very, very nice. Well, listen, Richard. I really want to thank you for your time, for being here. I know you're very busy. It took us a while to get you on the show, and I'm like I said, there's a few people you in that group that I'm personally grateful for. That it's like, hey, y'all paved the road that we're enjoying. We're really enjoying it. But thank you for being there. Thank you for sticking it out, and thank you for sharing. And it's kind of crazy that someone who started such a long time ago did not get stuck in the past. You're moving along with technology and with the way things are doing it. So
I'm halfway there.
you.
I think people should live their preferred lifestyle. I am living my preferred lifestyle only because I've had the $1 million houses and all the fancy cars and everything like that. And now it's like, that was more of an ego thing. I think you guys should. So what I teach people is how to live like a billionaire, but then I break the news that they don't have $1 billion. And so I said, look, if you want a Lamborghini, just go out and rent one for a weekend, right? And get that out of your system. But, and you should do practical stuff. But I think you should design your life how you want. So that's my big focus, is helping people get clear on that. And then we got all the tools and strategies to get you there if you control your own business and your own income and all that. So a lot of your folks, if they're just getting started, I would just focus on the next step. What do you need to do next in your business to move the ball? Okay. And I think I heard someone talk about, maybe on your show, instead of, I think it was John Jackson where he said, don't focus in on your next deal, focus in on making 250,000 over the next year, you know. And now you have a bigger game plan, right? As opposed to worrying about, is the next deal going to work out or not.
You hang around with John Jackson? He a jerk. No, he's a fine gentleman.
I can't go to an event without him. He's at every single event I go to. So
He is a cool
he's a good buddy. He's a great guy.
Cool cat for sure.
He is.
Well, my friend, thank you very much for your time, for generosity, guys. If you want to get in contact with Richard, his contact information has been down below. Reach out to him, send him an email, send him a text, go to his website, coffeepro.ai, and you know, let's all as a community become better. I'm a big fan of that. Let's all swim together.
Good.
So
yeah, I'm glad I got you excited about AI.
I like it. I absolutely do. Well, I hope you all have a great one. Final last words. I always like to leave our guest. The stage is yours. Share some words that you can kind of share with the audience.
I think I've always taught that your abilities are like only limited by your mind, and now your opportunities have exploded with what you can do. As far as, you know, you're going to learn all these cool things. Like I taught you guys a few things that you can do now. You've expanded your mind. It's almost overwhelming. That's just the beginning. So what's important is be very specific on what you want to accomplish, what's your goal, what you want to complete, not a dream, not a notion, but hey, in the next month, I want to accomplish this, or by tomorrow, I want to accomplish this, and then focus in on those outcomes.
Nice. Now, one final question, and our friendship may depend on this. Coke or Pepsi?
Unsweetened iced tea.
Oh my God, what is wrong with you? Guys, you guys have a great one. If you enjoyed the show, please like and share and comment. Reach out to us on social media. Let us know what you like, what you didn't like. And always, please be making deals. Put them on the Facebook group. And let's stay connected. Let's all make millions together. Y'all guys have a great one. Take care.